their competition level will be very high. So, I mean, it's peak time, and we have already started the recruitments here in Kerala zone. And a lot of companies are now visiting our campuses, especially product companies. So our students have to be a little bit more, I mean, aggressive to get prepared to get into any of these companies. Okay. So, I mean, I will start from the scratch, you know, for those students. I'm pretty sure that some of you might have started preparation right from maybe say 4 or 5 months back, or even there are some students who start their preparation from the 5th semester onwards. You know, that may happen. We see a lot of students who are aggressive in preparing for campus recruitments, but still there are some students who usually do for last minute study. You know, obviously, like I mean, our university examinations, they may go for last minute preparations and all. So considering a crowd where people are already prepared for that, or maybe people are yet to start the preparation, I will give my presentation in such a way that it is going to be useful for all sort of people. All right, so I mean, first, you know, just to give an overview of things for those who don't know, this will be known to majority of you. And we have basically 3 different types of campus recruitments happening in our campuses. The first one is on-campus recruitment, where the company will be directly coming to your campus for selecting the students. The second will be pooled recruitments, where a company will be coming to one campus and they will invite, say, on a zonal basis, maybe a few other colleges. They will ask the students to come and attend the test. And now, being it is virtual, this pooled recruitments may not happen. And the last is off-campus recruitment, which normally happens after your graduation, and probably you have to go to the company to attend the interview and all. And you know, the pass percentage will be slightly less. Why? Because competitions will be very high going to off-campus recruitment. So best opportunities on-campus recruitments. All right. So I mean, before starting, you might be well aware of the recruitment processes, but still considering the people who are yet to start the preparation, I have a small request. What you have to do is you have to start with a small research, right? So it's not like taking a book and start preparing from page number 1 till page number 500. No, not like that. It will never work out, right? It should be company focused. Preparation should be always company focused, right? So for that, what you have to do is you have to identify which all companies are coming to your campuses for placement. Right. I understand that in Rajagiri, a lot of companies are coming. Maybe more than 50 or maybe more than 80 or close to 100 companies will be coming. So what you have to do is you have to identify, I mean, the companies that are coming the first slot, maybe in the first lab, or like dream slot, day 0 slot, day 1 slot, day 2 slot, day 3 slot. So these companies you have to identify first. Then you have to identify you have to understand the recruitment procedure for each of the companies. That is very, very critical. Recruitment procedure means understand the syllabus they are following for the test, understand the pattern for interviews that normally they follow for the test, these kind of things. There is a particular procedure for these companies. Without knowing the procedure, it is very hard, right? It's very difficult. So understand the procedure of all these companies. For example, Cognizant will be having in one procedure, or maybe Amazon will be having an entirely different procedure. So you have to understand the procedure that companies is going to recruit from. And usually the general intake. And I request don't disturb your placement officer asking that what number of vacancies or how many people they are looking for. Don't disturb your placement officer. I basically hate that these kind of questions. Why? Because this is general intake is just to understand the competition level. That's it. So it doesn't mean that if the company is taking 2 or 3, you don't have a chance. No. Still you have a chance, but you have to prepare in that particular focus, in that direction. Then definitely you can be one among that 2 or 3. All right. And finally, the eligibility criteria. This eligibility criteria is to be taken care of by the pre-final year students. Why? Because most of the companies, they are looking for 0 backlogs and all, and there are companies that allow any number of backlogs, but they should be technically good. Whatever their field is, they should be technically very good. Right. So eligibility criteria, I stress more like, the junior students to focus on eligibility criteria. First, make yourself eligible to attend the recruitment test. Okay. And just this may be known to you, but still, for those who don't know, we basically have three different types of companies coming to our campuses. The first is product companies. Product companies means, for example, Amazon, Dell, say Google, Samsung, where they have a product and clients will approach the company to buy the product. All right. And product companies are product company recruitment process are a little bit very, very difficult, and you need that level of technical knowledge to crack that product company recruitment process. And the second category is IT or services companies, where the client has a requirement, and company will customize their service based on the requirement of the client. So, and most of the companies coming to our campuses are services companies. All right. So, and the third category is non-technical roles. Okay, so something like marketing or business development associate or business development executive, these kind of roles. But yeah, that's okay. But there are some students who may be interested for that. But I strongly recommend to be in the first two categories, and more strongly, the most important is to get into the first category of companies, product companies. Why? Because once if you start your career with a product company, there you will never get a chance to look back. That initial level itself will be very high as compared to any other companies, and from there your growth will be something beyond words as a fresher. So why? Because most of our students are getting into the services companies. So you should prepare. Services companies, okay, a little bit of a decent preparation level of what I am going to discuss here today will be enough to get into a services company. But I strongly recommend you to try for product companies. Product companies, definitely package will be very high, and you will never get a chance to move down from that particular level. So your initial career, if it is a product company, that will create a lot of changes in your overall career. So try for that, and you can try for some startups as well if you're interested. And a lot of core companies are also coming. Core companies in the sense, so for example, L&T and all, who are working in the core, Zia semiconductor based companies, VLSI companies who are working, or I should say mechanical based companies who are working in the core engineering domain. And very few are coming to Kerala campuses, but still there are a lot of opportunities. You can try for that. And campus recruitment process, I hope you know this. This will be a four-step process. And the first step is meet the eligibility criteria, right? Whether you are eligible for the company. The second will be a screening test, which will be virtual this year, and that consists of actually 4 parts. Aptitude, I have written in A and B. The first is aptitude, reasoning and verbal, and the fourth one, the most important one, is technical round. Right. So these are the 4 that types or categories of questions that you can expect for the screening test. And most of the companies this year, they won't have group discussion. Why? Because being virtual, but it is optional. Group discussion is actually optional. And the 4th round is interview, where again you may have 2 rounds, technical and HR. Only if you pass technical interview, then only you go for HR interview. Very few companies will go for direct HR interview. Most of the companies, 99.9% of the companies, they will have both technical and HR interviews, or maybe a combined interview. Only if you clear technical, then only you will be go to attend the HR interview. All right. And preparations for the screening test, for that online test, will be more than enough to clear technical interviews. Please understand, preparation for the screening test or initial that technical round preparation, that will be more than enough to attend to clear any technical interview. All right. So I will talk this one by one. All right. First is meet the eligibility criteria. Eligibility criteria will be like your percentage of marks, right? Your percentage of marks. Maybe say a company will be telling like, say our eligibility is 6.5 with 0 backlogs, then probably we can select the students just from an Excel sheet. But that doesn't make you eligible to attend the company. Please remember, this part is very, very important. That will never make you eligible to attend the company. Maybe you are eligible in terms of marks, but you may not be actually eligible. So what you have to do is you have to be really eligible to attend the recruitment process, right? And how will you do that? It's very simple. It's very simple. I mean, the first thing is self-preparation. You have to prepare. I mean, obviously for the recruitment process, that's mandatory thing. That's a very important thing. And the second is, internships that you have done. And for the final years, I don't know what we can do at this particular point of time, but still, you might have done a lot of internships previously, right? And companies will always look for candidates who have done wonderful internships, right? Internships is not actually a 5-day training program or maybe a 3-day training program that you go and do in a training institute. No, that's not an internship. You have to be part of some projects and all. So that's what I told for the final year students who are just on the doorsteps of campus recruitments. You may not get enough time for doing internships, but for pre-final years here, yes, you have to do some internships during your pre-final year. And that is, it's not like internships by namesake, like say 5-day training programs and all. No, please identify your skill, your area in which you are good. You may be good in coding, or you may be good in some other thing, maybe some management kind of thing, whatever it is. Okay, so whatever it is, you will be good at you will be having some strengths, right? So you'll be good at that. So identify companies who are focusing on or looking for interns in that particular areas through LinkedIn. So I strongly recommend LinkedIn. Right? Why? Because you will be able to meet HRs or people from industry, like team leaders or team managers through LinkedIn. You just try to build a connection with that. You should have an updated LinkedIn profile. Right? You should continuously update your LinkedIn profile. You share your thoughts on your technical interests. You can share whatever technical interests you have. It should not be for like some regarding some events or so. As students, what you have to do is you share your technical thoughts, you share your questions, you can interact with the people from industry. But what you have to take care is, don't directly ask for a chance. No, that's really bad. If you directly ask for a chance, you will be out. That's really bad. So what you have to do is first make yourself good for one particular technical thing, right? Maybe this can be used for final years as well, right? Because product companies will come towards the end of your 8th semester as well. A lot of companies are there. A lot of companies are coming. Or maybe you can find a lot of job opportunities through LinkedIn as well. So be good in one thing. For example, coding. I'm good in Java, for example. Or maybe I'm good in Python. So what I will do is I will identify some problems. I will share my problem statements through LinkedIn. I will get connected with HR managers. I will ask for the type of projects there. This is what I have in mind. So whether you are looking for any interns. So through the technical talk, you ask for internship opportunities. Definitely you will get. This will work out more for the pre-final year students. Even final year students can also do. And if there are some virtual internship opportunities, then probably that will be the best chance. And for those who have already done internships, please go well prepared with. You might have done it during your first year, but please go well prepared with the fundamental knowledge of that particular domain that you worked during the internship. And if you are just giving in resume that I have done a 5-day internship at so and so, and you are unable to answer not even a single question, how the interviewer will select you? Just think from that interviewer point of view. How that person is going to select you? It's not going to happen. So internships, why I am stressing this is internships is very, very important, very, very critical. We usually do a lot of analysis, right? What we placement team, we used to do a lot of analysis as part of IEEE as well. Last year we did an analysis during IEEE job fair. So what we did is like, the rate of, selection, the percentage of selection. And from our analysis, we came to the conclusion that more than 99% of the students who have done wonderful internships, they will get good opportunities. More than 99%. And those with fake internship things, it's very difficult. But those who have done good internships, 99.9% you will clear. You will definitely clear. So please, that's why I'm stressing more on that. Pre-final years especially, you have a lot more time in front of you, and you might have done lot of companies are selecting these people to work on their projects, right? Companies are selecting you people to work on their own projects, so they will definitely check your experience with some projects. You have already done design project. You have already maybe you might be part of some external projects like IEEE project, funded projects, or whatever, any other small projects. Or maybe you are in the planning stage of your main project, right? Project is very important. I used to see, I should say more than, I should say almost 100% of the interviews, they will ask for your projects that you have done. Right? It's so one thing, you cannot change the topic, you cannot do anything, but whatever you have done for your design project, your idea, the technology that you used, please remember, please go through all these things. So let me tell you, I attended, I'm right now working at LBS. So I attended the LBS interview almost say 8 years after my graduation. So for that interview, they asked for my BTech final year project. Believe me that they asked for BTech final year project. So this is not just for campus recruitments. Whenever you go for any interview, maybe say 8 years after or maybe 10 years after your graduation, they will actually look for your final year project. This is just to make them clear that no, they are actually interacting with you for 5 minutes. So they are trying to collect what information, what knowledge you gained through the project, what was your role, what was your contribution, and they will come to the conclusion that whether you are fit for a project group, right? So that really matters. So please do brush up with your fundamental knowledge. If your answer is no to the questions on project, chances are very less. So please, this is a request. Internships and projects, treat this as most important. Without that, never try to go, never attend any interviews. So this is very, very important. All right. And coming to the screening test, right? And the first part is quite simple. Okay, anyone can do that. It doesn't require any, that severe kind of aggressive preparations and all. Okay, the first part is okay. Okay. It's basically a two-step process normally. Two-step process with 4 topics. First step you might be knowing, quantitative aptitude, logical reasoning, verbal part. This will be there for most of the companies except some product companies. Product companies, they normally go for technical only, right? But about the services companies, they initially will conduct an aptitude, quantitative aptitude round, logical reasoning round, and verbal kind of questions. And the second part will be technical. And I should say most of the cases, there will be individual cutoff, and those who clear the first part only will be going to the technical round. That may happen, but for some of the companies, this is a combined round, right? And remember, quantitative aptitude is basically to check your mathematical ability. Right? I will tell you some of topics. You might have received a lot of training programs for this from these areas, but still understand this is to check your mathematical ability. Logical reasoning is to check your critical thinking ability. Right? A person, the company assumption. Why? Because I asked this to one of the top MNCs here that comes to Kerala campuses. I asked this to the vice president of VP of one of the top MNCs, and what he told is like, why you are including a lot of reasoning questions. You can expect the reasoning questions, puzzles and all for interviews as well. So I asked why you are including a lot of reasoning questions. So the answer is like, if a person is good at reasoning, logical reasoning, that person will be good at programming. If a person is good at logical reasoning, that person will be good at programming. So what you need to do is programming, the sense, logical kind of things. So what you need to do is like, just just teach him the fundamentals of any language, then probably he will grow like anything. And verbal obviously is very important for communication and all. Verbal is very, very important. And the second is and the second part, or the last part, is technical knowledge. Technical knowledge, you should be very strong with your fundamental areas, right? And all you need to do is practice. Without practice, nothing will happen. Nothing will happen without practice. Maybe you may score 9 GPA with 3 days of preparation for university examinations, but that will never work out for placements. That will never work out for. It is something like you are trying to sharpen your thinking ability, your logical ability, your way of answering ability, right? So if you practice more and more, unknowingly, that may not be known to you. Unknowing, I cannot evaluate out of say 100, this is your reasoning ability. No, I cannot give you marks out of 100. But unknowingly, without your knowledge, your thinking ability will sharpen, right? If you solve more and more questions, right? This is normally we do a practice with students. We ask the students to check the IQ of students. Normally we have some IQ calculators and all. You can go and check your IQ. I mean, a lot of online IQ calculators are there. Then you solve some puzzles for 1 month, right? You can try for that. Some logical questions for 1 month. After 1 month, you again go and check the IQ. So normally people tell that, we cannot improve the IQ. Yes, it is possible to improve. How? Why? Because how it seems to improve? Why? Because doing a lot of logical questions, you are sharpening your way of thinking. Yeah, right. So that is actually required for recruitments. So that's the reason those who are aggressively preparing for CAT examination, MBA entrance examination, probably there are high chances of those people to clear recruitments. Why? Because the topics, these logical kind of things, mathematical, verbal kind of things are not up to that level of CAT examination, right? So if you are preparing for CAT, or if you have good materials for CAT examination preparation, that definitely will help you, right? And please remember, you search for the placement papers of the company. You search for the placement papers of the company, right? Understand about the company, you search for the previous papers. That is mandatory. That is mandatory. Then you will come to know you just need to focus on that areas only just 2 or 3 days before your recruitments. And you might be knowing this. You might have received a lot of training programs as well on the common quantitative aptitude topics, on time and distance, or probability, or number series, ratio, simple interest, compound interest. So I know maybe Arun Sharma or maybe RS Agarwal will be a very good book for this. Just I added this, why? Because there may be some students who are yet to start their preparations. This will help those students, right? Maybe those who are preparing with that, yes, please continue, no issues. And I already told if you are getting some good materials, preparation materials of CAT examination, that will definitely help you a lot. But no, should decent materials, not just you receive from online. Why? Because most of the online, what I understand is like India Bix and all these things, the level of questions is quite less. You will see a lot of easy questions. That is not that may not be sufficient actually. So you have to work out difficult questions. Time management is also very important. If you try to work out difficult questions, then probably within short time, within less time, you can solve simple questions. So always try to solve a difficult level of questions. So any CAT material will be decent. Good standard CAT material, CAT preparation material will be okay for that. And if don't have, you can go for any of these things mentioned here. I can share the PPT if it is required. All right, then logical reasoning, again, these are the topics that we have normally. This is very critical. Syllogisms or blood relation or puzzle test or maybe kind of things. And maybe R.S. Agarwal or M.K. Pandey, these kind of books will be more than okay. And again, I strongly recommend for CAT level preparation books for logical reasoning as well. And coming to verbal, verbal part is it actually requires more time. Verbal actually requires more time. May not be able for you to read these things in 2-3 days. It's a long-term process. So please prepare well for verbal. Why? Because a lot of practice you have to do. You have to understand the meaning, antonyms, synonyms, then prepositions, grammar, kind of things. May be good. Some people may be good at that. Some may not be. If you feel that you are not good, then probably you have to do some aggressive preparations. And there are some methods on how to. The most important difficult part here is reading comprehension. Right? The other thing, okay, anyway. We can solve, but reading comprehension is very important, where your presence of mind is very important. Reading comprehension, why? Because you have a limited time and individual cutoff. So reading comprehension questions you have to approach in such a way that quickly understand, then understand the questions from that. So for that, the presence of mind is very important. So quickly understand what is given in the paragraph, then based on the questions, what the conclusion will be. For that, presence of mind is very, very critical. All right. So for that, you have to practice. Don't get tensed while seeing the countdown timer and all. So kind of preparation is really required for these verbal as well. So these are the common topics that we have. So for maybe C or maybe high school English grammar and composition self-practice book by Ren and Martin. All these will be more than okay. More than enough for verbal. Verbal you can search for. Search in Google as well. A lot of materials are available. And the last part, the technical part, is very, very critical here. Technical part, right? Even if you know these things, verbal, attitude, aptitude, these logical, doesn't matter. The most important part is technical, right? If you're not good at technical, out. You definitely will be out. Right. So this is very, very important. And normally companies will ask for two different types of technical questions. Normally two different. Most of the last week we conducted for Teradata, we conducted for Commvault. These companies, these kind of product companies that they are looking for is. They will give some questions in say HackerEarth or HackerRank. Some questions they will give, and maybe you are expected to get the output, and based on the test cases that you clear, maybe 5 or 7 test cases will be there, and those who clear maybe at least 4 test cases, they will clear the technical round. So some companies are looking for that, but some companies they go for MCQs or maybe fill missing chords or kind of pseudo codes, right? A loop is given what is the output, or a part of a loop is given what is a remaining part, something like missing codes, these kind of questions, or MCQs normally, MCQs. And second layer companies, other than product companies, they normally go for these kind of questions. Okay, so please understand, unless you are, why I'm stressing on this is like more than 80% of the companies coming to Kerala campuses are software companies. Or even for some of the companies, for example, core companies coming from for the electronics people or maybe applied electronics people, they are actually looking for C programming, right? Why? Because the entire industry is automated, so they are actually looking for some coding, right? Even though they are from manufacturing area or so, they are actually looking for their base will be coding. So they really want engineers to know fundamental coding. So that's why C and C++ is mandatory for all. For all students, at least C and C++ is mandatory. It's not optional, it is mandatory. Java and all, it's optional, right? If you are a CS student, if you don't know Java, it's very difficult. If you know Java, 99% sure you will clear, right? So Java doesn't mean that you learned your normal course. Actually, you should know how to write program. You should know how to get the output of the program. Means you are clear, right? So C and C++ is mandatory for all, irrespective of the branch, for EC or maybe except civil. Civil people, I don't tell you like this. Even for mechanical also, basic coding knowledge may be required. They are looking for that. Right. And Python, okay, if you know Python, then definitely in software industry you're always welcome. If you know Python, right? So you should be clear with any of these coding languages. I cannot tell you in more detail about this, but remember, you can select your coding language of your choice. So always I recommend at least CPP. at least, even if you are from other branches. For CS people, please go for Java at least. Means your chances are very, very high. Okay, so for product companies, for what I told, like some like Commvault or Amazon or maybe Google or Yahoo or kind of these companies, you should be very thorough with data structures, a database management system, networking, operating OS. These type of subjects are very critical. Whatever be the your branch of study, doesn't matter. If you're looking for these companies like Amazon or Target Corporation or Commvault or Teradata kind of companies, then data structure, database, DBMS, networking, operating system, this knowledge is very, very critical. This is very important, right? So without that, it will never work out. So if you don't know, please, I think there are some applications like Solo Learn, SOLOLEAR, and Solo Learn, which is an app which is a very good, useful, one for those who are starting their preparations. So Solo Learn app, maybe something, some tests and all are paid, but still Solo Learn app will be very much useful who are starting. No, for those who are well prepared, then leave all these things. Otherwise, if you are just starting the preparations, then Solo Learn app will definitely help you a lot. Solo Learn, SOLOLEAR, yeah. And for coding people, I will first stress on coding. Then I will go to the other things. So, HackerRank, this is a mandatory thing. HackerRank is absolutely free for people, for those who are trying to practice. It is paid only for companies who are conducting the technical test. And for you people, it's absolutely free. Create an account. You might be having, but if you don't have, create an account. Lot of easy level, difficult, medium level, difficult level questions are there. You can set up some coding competitions within your group. Form small. This is what I used to do with students. Try to form small groups, maybe a group of 10. Will give you initially learn, say, C or some fundamental things. Then probably one person will set up a coding, some coding test one day, maybe for 1 hour. Everyone will solve. The next day, another person can do. This kind of group activities will help a lot. Why? Because even if you're unable to get the answer, you will get from the rest of the group. So that definitely will work out. So please form small groups. Create, already by default questions are available in HackerRank. Try to solve all these questions. Try to write questions right from the scratch of, say, printing hello world till the difficult one with the linked list, or even something bigger than that, trees or stacks or Q arrays or whatever. So try to solve questions using HackerRank. HackerEarth is also a similar thing. You can see most of our coding competitions done using HackerEarth. You can solve. Please solve. The only solution is practice. There is no other solution, right? So please try to write questions. Solve questions using HackerRank. Those who are looking for paid materials, then LeetCode is good. LeetCode, which is, I should say, a paid one. It's something like $34 for 1 month. We never promote paid things during our sessions, but this is just for your understanding. If you are okay to pay, then go and buy. That's it. No, that's your choice. So I have done similar. A lot of things are there similar. For example, QuarterByte, where also, which is paid. Payment is very high. Say $34 per almost per month. So it's very high. So we will never recommend for that, but still, why? Because if you go for paid materials, you will get the solutions. So you can try for that, and this will be a must choice for those who are preparing for technical interviews. Those who are not yet to, those who are yet to visit this particular website, no, please do. Even though the web page seems not so great, but still a lot of materials are there. Lot of MCQs are available. Lot of questions you will get. A lot of tutorials you will get from GX4GX, right? Whether it is C or C++ or Java or Python, whatever your language, doesn't matter. You will get a lot of MCQs, a lot of questions from GX4GX. So please, without getting materials from this, never go for interviews or never go for recruitments. So at least you should spend some time exclusively here in GX4GX to learn things First you should take some fundamental tutorials, then only you will be able to solve those things, right? So this is a very, very useful thing for those who are preparing for recruitments. We normally see that those who do these kind of preparations with HackerRank, HackerR, G4Gs, then initial level of preparation is more than enough for anyone to crack, at least product companies. It's more than enough. Nothing more is required. Nothing more is required, right? It's not based on your GPA or nothing like that. So if you know how to write program in HackerRank or HackerEarth, well and good. You should know how to write at least medium level questions, right? So not fundamental questions, medium level questions. And if you know how to, if you have gone through almost all contents of these 4 Gs, yeah, that's more than enough, right? And we don't expect anything more to do from your side. Why? Because you have your regular studies as well. Okay. And please remember, fortunately I got this from Facebook only. So please remember, these people, the names will be familiar, but no, understand at what particular age that they started coding. Right? And right now, you people are say 19 or 20 or 21. Do you know how to code? How to write a code? How to do a project with enough programming language? If not, you have to improve a lot, right? So that's what I told. Before going to interviews or before going to any job interviews, you should be good at least one area. At least one area. You should be good at least one area. I'm not telling. And what I strongly recommend is like, don't try to be good at one thing. Try to be, okay. See, it's not like the best in one thing, but try to be in the top 25% of say 3 or 4 things, 3 or 4 languages. Don't try to be number one, rank one in one, but rather try to be in top 25% at least of say 3 or 4. That will definitely help you a lot. And for that, a lot of time is required for preparations. You have to understand, you have to write codes, you have to understand the subject in depth, right? Spend time more on these and improve, gradually improve, right? So we are already late if you are not good at that. And if you do this properly, definitely you can reach a safe starting point. And for the remaining, the companies, remaining branch of studies like mechanical or electronics or civil, electrical, and I will start with mechanical. A lot of people, these, if you know these softwares like CAD or SolidWorks or ANSYS, definitely you have chances. And without knowing these things, you cannot get into a company. It's very difficult, right? So a lot of companies like Tech Mahindra or MRF or kind of TVS, kind of a lot of companies opportunities will come. Definitely they will go for pan-India recruitments as well. You have to closely follow their career page, then you will get to know about the opportunities. Why? Because I'm not sure, not all companies will come to Kerala campuses. Why? Because they normally recruit from IITs or NITs. So for we people, still chances are there, but you should be strong with either CAD or SolidWorks or ANSYS or any of these, and the knowledge of something like conduction subjects, so thermodynamics or design subjects. This is very critical for mechanical people. Electronics, obviously, for core companies, I should tell you, what you need to do is software languages that you use. Design or coding kind of, something like a MATLAB or CAD or PLC SCADA kind of software that you use. Knowledge of that plus gate level preparation. If you are purely looking for core companies, gate level preparation means you should. That itself shows all gate level preparation. The preparation that you do for gate examination, like your core subjects, you should be able to solve problems from your core subjects. For electronics people, like analog electronics or communication or signals and systems or control systems, microcontrollers and microprocessors. And if you know this well, then definitely there are chances. And the problem is that most of the time, students will focus just on the initial part, and once the company comes for interview, what I have seen last year, that there are some students, at least they don't know the fundamental laws of thermodynamics. They're unable to write. right? Why? Because they study, they have already maybe A plus score in their subject, but recollecting all these things is very important. Human beings cannot recollect things that you, normal human being, believe me, it's not your problem if you are unable to recollect things that you studied in the first semester. It's not your problem. It's a problem with all human beings. So what you have to do, you have to just refresh or rewind, revise all these things just before placements. If you revise, at least you will be able to throw some answers to the questions that they ask, right? Otherwise, with the knowledge that you wrote the examination, say 2 years back, it's very difficult. So what is required? Revise. Just at least once you go through all these, that requires time. Okay, and for civil people, I mean CAD or StatPro or Revit or 3ds Max or Plaxis or Primavera, which is something like a project planning kind of software. These softwares are mandatory. You cannot enter the field without knowing at least any of these. Right. So you should be clear with that and your fundamental subjects. If you are looking for core companies, for example, L&T. For L&T and all, if you are trying to attend the interview, software is not required, but still you should be clear with construction. You should be clear with structural surveying kind of things is extremely important. Extremely important. Last year I conducted an L&T interview and I got surprised. Students with most of the students with more than 9 GP, but they are unable to clear the interview. Why? Because they don't know the fundamental subjects. They don't know the fundamental subjects. For core companies, 100% is sure. Core companies in the sense, companies working in the core engineering domain. If you don't know your fundamental subject, very difficult. Don't try to dream them, right? It's very difficult to clear. So if you are dreaming for that, you have to first understand these, learn these fundamental subjects. And for electrical people, again, CAD or PLC SCADA for electrical design kind of, so a lot of certifications are also there for electrical thing, right? So this is just for your understanding. Group discussion I will skip. Why? Because group discussion is not so important right now. Okay, anyway, just maybe by chance, if they are conducting group discussion, I will take less than 2 minutes to discuss this group discussion. Okay, in group discussion, the recruiter is actually looking for your communication skills and your behavioral ability. Your communication skills and your behavioral ability, right? The most important thing is, like, you should have a good habit of structuring your thoughts and presenting them logically, right? Last year when I conducted the recruitment drive of one of the product companies, I should say, one of the product companies, they don't have these kind of things, but they had, it was a big company. I don't specify the name. It was a big company. So they conducted, and that too in a Bangalore base. They have only office in Bangalore and remaining all in US. So what they asked is, like, they conducted a group discussion. Why? Because a lot of people cleared the initial round. They conducted a group discussion. And the topic was like, I got surprised. The topic that they gave was like, those people were from Bangalore, but they gave like Mohanlal or Mammootty. They gave a topic like that. So I got surprised. Then I asked the HR, why you are giving topics like this? Then I got this answer from the HR. What they are looking for is like how well the student is able to structure their thoughts and deliver it in a very good manner, logical manner. So again, I should tell you, presence of mind is very important here, right? Presence of mind. There is a tricky method to crack this group discussion. There is a tricky method. If you feel that you are not so confident in GD, thing is that no, it's very difficult. Probably some people will get tensed while talking in a group or maybe while presenting. So that time they may not be able to structure their thoughts. They will go somewhere else. They will start from somewhere. They will go somewhere. Right. So if you feel that you are not so great in structuring your thoughts, try to write essays. Take some time. Demonetization. Write essay. Once if you start writing essay, while writing essays, essay writing and all, we are actually thinking, we are structuring, we are writing in a very good way. So if you try to write this, if you feel that you are not good, try to write some essays, then probably that will help you to structure your thoughts, right? And read more, be aware of the current affairs. Why? Because they will give the topic 5 minutes prior to this group discussion. Right? So if you don't know, if you have never heard of this thing, you're out. Right? And please understand, you have to speak loudly, very clearly, in a very calm way, and your presence of mind is very important. Remember, this is not a debate. This is not a debate. Group discussion is not a debate. So don't make it a debate. Then that shows a negative thing, right? So that's not good. So so before GD, with that 5 minutes of time given to you, you stock yourself with information. Think of all the information. And for that, you need current affairs, historical topics or sports or arts or literature, whatever, and collect some data. For example, the literacy rate or whatever things in some percentages, right? Collect some data in percentages and you can deliver. That will be amazing. While presenting, like, in India, we have 138 crores. Out of that, 85% they are having so and so, 28% they are having so and so. These kind of analysis, is very great during group discussions. So data crunching is very critical. So while preparing for topics, you please collect some kind of data like this in percentages or something like that, growth or rate of growth, something like that. Okay. And during the GD, you understand the topic, precise and sharp thoughts, you take the initiative, and you should have knowledge about the topic, right? So this you have to do. And again, I'm telling you, this is not a debate. All right. So this is very, very critical for group discussion preparation. Remember, if you are not confident, start writing essays. Start writing essays and try to prepare by yourself. And I will take probably another 15 minutes more to discuss on some of the interview tips that you have already. I have, as part of IEEE Young Professionals, I have a video mentioning all these 6 tips on how to crack a job interview. If you can go through that, well and good. Maybe useful for. I am not telling you that maybe it is useful for all. Maybe useful for some of them. Right. So just go through that. I will share the link as well. Okay. So now let me tell the interview. Basically, there are 3 different types of interview questions. The first one is technical questions. Maybe your coding questions or questions from your core engineering subjects. Right. The second is analytical questions like puzzles or questions to check your normally puzzles or maybe some situation management kind of things, your analytical skill, to check your analytical skill or your critical reasoning ability. And the last is behavioral questions. Behavioral questions is actually, it's normally will be there for HR interview. They are actually looking for you, really, who are you, your behavior, your way of answering, your energy level, your attitude, very, very important. Your attitude, your interpersonal skills, your communication skills, your leadership skills, these kind of things. Right. So it's not just about technical. Remember, a person may be technically good. That matters only 50%. Right. Companies are actually looking for people with technical knowledge. At the same time, they should adapt with the culture of company. So they are equally looking for the interpersonal skills or the behavioral attitude of the candidate. So I should say 50-50. So there, kind of IEEE volunteering kind of things will help you a lot, will improve you. Unknowingly, these activities, it's actually something like a professional development, right? Both technically as well as the other part, interpersonal skills, you need to improve. And remember, if you have done enough preparation for technical test, you can clear the first set, technical interview. Technical interview you can simply clear if you have prepared enough, that what I have shared you previously. For a test, you might have done, and if a lot of research of the subject, if you are good at that, definitely you will clear the technical. Right? No doubt, 100% sure. So the rest is analytical or behavioral. That is the HR interview. So I just give you some points on how to prepare for this HR interview as well. Okay. So tip number 1 is self-preparation. Tip number one, right? Self-preparation. You have to, before going to an interview, you should be self-prepared with something, some very obviously technical part. I'm not touching the technical part. That obviously you have to learn. Plus, first and the most important thing, understand about the company. Without knowing what Amazon is, what are their products, how you can know what Google is about the product, how you can attend the interview, it's not possible. So understand about the company. How you will understand about the company? You dive into the company website. You search in company website, their products, their offices, their way of working, everything will be there in the website. So you dive into the company website. You can search for some top officials of the company. You can use LinkedIn for that. You can use LinkedIn, search for top officials, follow them, and you can use this information during any general conversation with the interviewer. All right. And so you should be well aware of the company before going to the interview. A second thing, be ready with an updated resume. Be ready with an updated resume. This is very critical. I may require another 2 hours to explain how to prepare interviews. I'm not going, how to prepare a good resume. I'm not going to that. Maybe some other point of time we may check that. But be ready with an updated resume. You should have a very good professional resume. Okay, so or add all relevant things in the resume. Be ready, updated one. Be ready with that. It should looks good and with genuine contents, right? Sorry. And the third is please prepare yourself with some of the frequently asked interview questions. Normally, I should say there are some 40, 44 or 40 to 45 commonly asked interview questions. You go to any interview, you will definitely get the same questions. Right? So you can list out all possible questions. Say 40 to 45 commonly asked questions are there. Right? List out all these. Answer at least once before going to interview. In front of a mirror if you are not so confident. Try to find the answer. Right? Then you go for the interview. Will help you a lot. Otherwise, if you are getting that question, if you are hearing the question for the first time, it becomes a problem for you. You may not be able to deliver in the proper way. So please prepare well with some of the frequently asked interview questions. Right? So that will again boost your self-confidence. That boosts your self-confidence. Right? So please prepare with some of the frequently asked interview questions. I will tell you some of the frequently asked. Some of them I will tell you. I don't have enough time, but still I will tell you some of them. The first question will be like, tell me about yourself. Right? For example, and not always, but still I should say in 99% of the cases, this will be the first question asked by the interviewer. Not all cases, but 99% of the cases. Tell me about yourself. So if you don't know how to answer this question, first impression itself is really lost, right? You may be good at speaking. Okay. That doesn't matter. What you are delivering, that is important. Right. So what we did is like, we asked the students to be prepared with say 8 or 10 points. And while answering, they will count 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, finally 8 over. Right. Something like that. You just list out all these important things. And normally we see that students, if they are not prepared, they will simply go and sit there and they tell that this is my hometown, my father is working there, mother there, these are things that are happening in my hometown. See, interview is not actually looking for your personal things. Interview is not actually looking for your personal things. You can add some personal things, no problem. You can add, no problem. But what he is looking for is, to check whether you are fit for the company, not to hear your personal life story. Right? They are looking for whether you are fit for the company. And for that, what you have to deliver, obviously, your education, your experience. Maybe you are a fresher. If you are a fresher, no problem. Your technical experience that you had during your course of study. Any additional skill development programs. All of you might have done a lot of skill development programs during this COVID-19 days, lockdown period. So you can list out all these additional skill development courses. Any professional achievements, maybe your leadership roles, kind of professional achievements that you have. You can list out all these things. Then finally, you can add something about you can add about your family, no problem, right? But still, fit this to maximum 1 minute. Fit this to maximum 1 minute. with majority content from your professional achievements, your education, your experience, your technical interest, kind of things. And finally, your about your family or your personal thing. And fit this to 1 minute. This will be the best answer for that, right? So always, prepare. You have to prepare for that, right? For that, and prepare some points, say n number of points that you have to deliver for these questions. And here are some other. So I tell you, I request you, please go back and collect almost all possible questions. You can search in freshersworld.com. You can search in placementpapers.com, .in, .net. A lot of websites are there. You search, you will get previous HR interview questions. List out all these and try to frame answers of your own. Never try to by heart these answers, but at least prepare for that. Right? Okay, and these are some other questions, and I request you to frame your own answers. Answers will be different. I cannot tell you the answer. Right? It depends upon person to person. So it's not like telling you answers to some of the questions. I will give you questions only, and you have to prepare your answers. Another question is like, why do you want this job? What are your strengths and weaknesses? And tell me about some challenges you have experienced during your past, maybe your course of study. And why should I hire you? Very, very important thing. The person will ask, like, you are from electronics background, this is a software company, why should I hire you? Right? Why you want this job? These kind of questions will always come. So there is no fixed answer for all these things. Why? Because interviewers are different, interviewees are different. So there are no fixed answers for that. But you should frame. Otherwise, if you experience these questions for the first time, you may face some difficulties to answer at that particular point of time, and later you will regret. Oh, I told like that. It should have been like this. No, that will never work out. So please prepare well. Okay. And the second point, tip number two. You maintain a very good energy level and communicate effectively. Right? Maintain a very good energy level. Right. Interviewers are actually looking for your ability to communicate. Right. Communicate your thoughts, your emotions, your stories, your experiences, everything you can share with the interviewer. Right. Don't be too lengthy, but in short way, you have to share all these things. So ability to communication, that energy level is very important. So maintain a very good energy level, both physically. I am pretty sure that you will be tensed. Definitely you will be tensed. Everyone will be tensed. All 100% of people who are entering an interview panel will be tensed. All right? But don't show that. Don't show to be nervous. All right? Okay, you may be nervous. Even if I am not getting, then nothing will happen. I will attend for another company. Be in that attitude. Go there. Right? Be very confident. Right? If you are mentally at a very good energy level, physically also you can show that. Otherwise you will simply sit like this if your energy level is not so great. So you have to be very you should sit with a very good positive body language, right? And always try to give some real life examples, genuine examples, right? And number 3, maintain a good body language. Maintain a very good body language, right? Your voice, right? Your dressing style, your body language, all these creates a great impression, right? So if you are going to the interviewer and telling that hi, my name is Nandan, if you answer to their questions in this way, a person will feel that what this guy is doing, right? But instead, hello, my name is Nandan. With a very good energy level, with a pleasant smile, you should answer like this. So interviewer itself will feel. See, if you maintain a good body language, you are actually trying to build a mental connection with the interviewer. If you are confident, if you are positive, if you are pleasant, that will build a good mental connection with the interviewer, right? That's a little bit of psychology is involved. That will create even your body language also, right? Even your body language also. That creates a good mental connection with the interviewer. And if that connection is done, chances are very high, right? So your body language means your eye contact, your posture, your hand gestures, right? The way you sit, the way you stand, the way you walk into the interview room, right? Maybe for virtual interviews, the way you sit, the way you answer, right? The hand gestures that you have, the pleasant feeling that you have in your face, these things matters, really matters, right? For behavioral interviews, not for a technical one again, technical knowledge is important, right? So these are 3 tips. Now tip number 4, keep your answers sure, positive and concise. Keep your answers sure. Don't lie. Never try to lie in front of interviewers. Never do that, right? Never do that. And that's again unethical, basically. So never do that. And should be positive. No, always. Never try to criticize anyone. Never try to criticize your professor. Never try to criticize anyone, any of your friends, or maybe never. Never speak negatively about anyone or anything, any incident. No, don't do that. Right? If you do that, you're out. Right? Never speak negatively during interviews. And let it be concise. Right? Don't give a lot of blah 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 kind of things. Be concise. Right? It's not like telling 1 word or 2 word. No. Concise doesn't mean that it's telling say 1 word or 2 word answers. Then also you will be out. You should deliver whatever content is required to pass that information. That's it. Don't be too lengthy, don't be too short. That's required. All right. And tip number 5 is you should show the best in you. This is very important for an interview. Right. You may not be the best, I'm sure. No one is perfect. You may not be the best. But whatever is best in you, show that. Right. It's kind of selling yourself as the best person. Right. No, interviewer, you should make the interviewer understand that you are better than the rest of the candidates. Maybe 100 people will be out waiting outside. What makes you different from the rest of the people? That is very critical, right? So you should be having some unique qualities. So you should expose yourself as a special person, but don't try to be a Superman or a superhero. No, don't say that I can do imaginary things. If you do that, then the person will understand. Person will be no better psychology than you. So don't try to do that. But still, whatever best in you, real thing is best in you, try to deliver that in a confident, in a positive, and a very proactive way, right? And make the interviewer understand that what you can offer that the other candidates can't. Right? So don't tell the interviewer that I'm a fresher, I don't have any. This normally happens in off-campus recruitments. Maybe experienced people will also come. No, please remember, a person with good experience may not be the best choice. No. It's all about the learning attitude. It's all about the learning attitude rather than the experience. Right? Maybe another person will be sitting next to you with 5 years experience. You may be a fresher, right? Doesn't matter. That person may have done, say 5 or 6 projects, and you have done 0 projects. No problem. It's not based on the experience that you worked previously or whatever kind of things. You may not be part of any projects during your course of study. No problem. Still, you have a lot of chances. It's all about your learning attitude. Make the interviewer understand that you are eager to learn. You are eager to learn. Make the interviewer understand, right? And show your learning attitude. That's what I told you. Have to definitely. I'm not sure what you can do at this point of time, but you might have done a lot of skill development courses during this lockdown days. You can tell all these one by one. I want to explore in these areas. That's why I have done a lot of courses here. I have attended a lot of webinars in this area. Why? Because this is my focus area. But still, I'm adaptable. It's not like I just want this area only. I'm a little bit more interested towards that, but still, I'm eager to learn any new thing. It should be like that, right? And the last one, tip number 6, is come prepared with some questions. Usually, interviewer will ask towards the end, do you have any questions to me? Then probably if your answer is like no, how the interviewer will feel means that you don't have at least anything to ask, right? This normally happens in pre-placement talks as well. They will ask, then probably nobody will ask the questions, right? So please come. Don't. That's not good. Please come prepared with some questions. and these green ones are commonly asked one. Right? These you can ask these, and the red ones never ask. Right? I mean, so they can be. You can ask questions like, "What is the goal that you are currently working toward?" or "How will my performance be evaluated?" So, what opportunities for advancements or additional duties should I have there? So, what are the different career paths in your department? These kind of questions you can ask. Don't ask like, "When will I get my first salary increment?" or "Can I work from home?" These kind of questions. Don't ask. Right. So, and don't ask too many questions. Maybe one or two, max two. That's it. Maybe max two, one or two questions you can ask. Right. So please come prepared with some questions. That definitely will help you to clear any HR interview. Right. So these are the 6 tips. And please remember, there is no one way an interviewer asks questions and an interview answers to those questions. So each and every person is unique. Frame your own answers. For that, I told you tip number 1, self-preparation. Before going to the interview, frame answers to, you should understand the right strategy on how to answer, right? Frame your own answers. And there is no one way, there is no fixed answers to any of these questions. Should show your best in you. And if you are good in working with the company to work in that culture, definitely you will be selected. If you're not selected, leave that. Just try for the one that best suits you, or maybe the best platform for you. Go for that, right? So this is what I have to tell you. So I wish all success to those who are looking for campus recruitments. And I don't know whether we have time for questions, and I can take a couple of questions. Otherwise, you can send me a mail to Nandan S at IW.org. I will be more than happy to take the questions. So that's all from my side. Thank you so much. Any questions? Then probably I can answer.
Guys, you can shoot your question to sir. We'll just take 5 more minutes, sir, for questions.
Yeah, sure. You can send me mail as well if you. I will be more than happy to answer. If you have any questions, you can send me mail as well. I couldn't cover all the topics like resumes and all. Again, it takes more time.
I guess, sir, they're planning to send you mail.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That will be okay. Yeah.
So I express my sincere gratitude to Professor Nandan S, who is here on a short notice. Thank you, sir, for taking out time from your busy schedule and addressing us on this topic. This will surely help our students to perform better in their placement season. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. With this, we conclude today's session. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. A special thanks to Professor Naveen, who is a very close friend of mine, and Rohit, and all the student volunteers who coordinated this. Thank you so much. Thanks for this opportunity. And if you have any questions, feel free to shoot a mail. Yeah. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.